Hi everybody, welcome to your Course 2 Module 10 final overview video for Course 2. I hope this video finds you well and finds you warm. I know it's been fairly chilly in Athens over the past few days. This is just going to be a quick video. You don't have a whole lot to do before we meet again on Monday. Just a quick reminder that GAGC is coming up. That's in early March. If you have any questions, you can ask your gifted coordinator at your school, or you can email Siri if you're interested in joining. I'm going to say that it's probably more geared towards a lot of elementary school teachers and middle school teachers. It doesn't mean that high school teachers won't get a whole lot out of it, especially if you want, I don't know if it works into something for your CEUs or anything like that, but you are obviously welcome to attend. And then from there, just a quick review of modules 8 and 9. For module 9, you guys worked on your final exams. Thank you. I'll be looking over the scores and updating your grade sheet this week. I'll be likely releasing the scores tomorrow on Wednesday. I've already gone over them and just waiting on a few more things to tidy up before I release them. And then if you do have that requirement of meeting an 85% or above, in order to pass course 2. If you do not receive an email from me, then you're probably good to go. Tomorrow, Wednesday, once you see your score, if you need to follow up with me, I'll be connecting with you. So that's that. For Module 8, your product and performance project. Overall, I think you guys did a pretty good job. There's a lot of missing assignments, and I know that just January is tough, so I was kind of disappointed about kind of the number of missing product and performance projects. And then I did want to address that it looked like, and I could be wrong because I don't know like where you copied and pasted from, but some of you, it looks like you just kind of included the rubric that you used for the project. Remember that this assignment was to use perhaps the same project you've been doing, but you need to create and adapt a rubric that is only for the area of eligibility that you had chose. You either chose achievement, creativity, or motivation. So some people who decided to do achievement, some of the categories that you included that you assessed were like organization and planning. And I know like in general we think of like, oh, you have to be well organized and time management in order to achieve, but organization and planning aren't really evidence of high achievement. A gifted child can be highly disorganized and not plan very well, but the achievement, their knowledge of that content might still be really high. So including organization and planning as categories for achievement is not appropriate. Same thing for creativity. I saw some of the categories were like, met all of the requirements, like maybe it needed to have like 2 sentences and 3 vocabulary words or something like that. Well, that's not assessing creativity. Same thing with their ability to communicate. Now, had communication been something related to creativity in the way that they were able to creatively communicate, that's one thing. And then for those of you who did creativity, if I felt like your requirement of to be creative was vague, I went ahead and made a note on your rubric that you're going to need to flesh it out. You're going to need to say like, what does creative mean? And I know that can be hard, but you've got lots of resources. You have 2 full chapters in your Davis Syndrome textbook that talk about creativity, that break creativity down into multiple different types of abilities that you can address. And then for motivation, my only little thing that I saw come up was the finishing early, indicating that someone is highly motivated. Now, while finishing early may indicate that a child is highly motivated, it doesn't necessarily mean so, because if a child is highly creative and highly elaborative and pays a lot of attention to detail, it might mean that they take the whole time for the assignment, for the project, and they don't finish early because they're putting so much work into it. So just be careful about what criteria you use for motivation. And motivation is a hard one to create a rubric for. It's not easy. So I'm going to challenge you to kind of go, just be really intentional about the categories you include. I'm going to bring up to the screen someone who I thought did an amazing job creating a rubric that assessed creativity. So you can see like what like the perfect rubric is, and you'll see that it might be completely different from the rubric that you generally use for the project that usually somehow centers most often around achievement. So this is Scott Swain's rubric for creativity. Just give you a little tiny bit of his narrative. So in this activity, the students were given The Odyssey, the graphic novel by Gareth Hines, and they were given a few weeks to read it. They then pick a problem that the main character is facing that can be solved with an engineering design solution. And so for here, this is not an English class. I'm pretty sure it's like an engineering class, where the objectives were to explain a problem-solving process used by engineers, designers, and other technologists, demonstrate creative approaches to problem solving, and you'll see that in the rubric, create a solution to a given problem, test and evaluate the problem solution, implement the problem solution, develop marketing materials associated with the problem solution. So a lot of that creating, testing, evaluating, and implementing is part of that whole creative problem-solving process. So here's what his rubric looked like, and I'll kind of try to hide my face, but his categories were creative abilities that are like the foundations to creativity: flexibility, fluency, elaboration, and originality. And that's it. And you can see how he basically looks like he looked at the definition of flexibility and applied it to this project. He looked at the definition of fluency, applied it to this project. Same thing for elaboration, paying attention to lots of details. Here, the exemplary develops a very detailed prototype that works in completing a simulation of the task. And then originality, you can see how he adapted originality there. So notice that over here the categories aren't related to achievement. They aren't necessarily related to motivation. They're clearly assessing creative abilities. So round of applause. Good job, Scott. For course 10, all you need to work on is just to complete your shadow experience. So that's due at the beginning of class. Make sure that just your same shadow experience document is updated. You need entry 3, entry 4, and entry 5 completed there in your shadow experience Monday, January 28th before class. And just a reminder, I updated this. This did say March down here. That's definitely should be April, right? So no in-residence on February 4th. We're not going to meet 2 weeks back to back. The new in-residence session is Monday, March 4th. I didn't receive any emails saying that was a problem. Oh, gosh, I didn't receive any emails saying that was a problem for anybody, so I'm excited about that. And then we've got these 2 dates, Module 7 and Module 10 are remaining the same. That's it. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. You'll be hearing from me releasing your final grade exams tomorrow. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I will see you guys on Monday. Yeah,